Hey guys, Mr. Nichols here to talk to you about today's murder of Mr. Kelley mock activity. So this is going to be a online only version of what we did in class on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week in the hybrid setting. So basically what happened here is we're going to be using our skills of deductive reasoning, or essentially using logic to try and take different clues from a particular scenario and try and organize them and assemble them into a coherent narrative. So I'd like to show what we are dealing with here and where that's going to be located. So if you look on the two documents that I posted, the first is going to be a list of all of your clues. So if you look here, we have a couple of different characters, so you'll need to take note of who they are. You're given a couple of different locations and then a sequence of time. Now, when you're going through and trying to solve this mystery of what happened to Mr. Kelley, which, by the way, Mr. Kelley was found murdered in a park. So basically what we have to try and do is try and figure out who he came in contact with, how he came in contact with them to determine his time of death, and then use that as a guide to figure out what happened to him. So our overall goal is to figure out who was the murderer, what was the murder weapon, so the weapon that was used to finally kill him, so the last weapon that was used to injure him, his time of death, so the time of the murder, the location of that murder, and then the motive. So this was essentially designed to be a in-class kind of group activity, but if I give you some hints, I guarantee that you should be able to at least figure out the basics of this. So the hint and the spoiler that I'm going to give you that I gave everyone else in class is that when we have a variety of different pieces of information in any case, the first thing that we have to do is try to come up with a narrative or a timeline showing what specifically happened in the sequence of events that led to Mr. Kelley's death. So your first thing that you're going to need to do is take any of these clues, and I would recommend while you're going through kind of making a little timeline on a separate sheet of paper, kind of showing what happened, where it was, and then when each of those different things happened. So I would legitimately just go and take a sheet of paper and make like a line on it, and then list out what happened at each timeline. So again, what we're trying to do is figure out what one person killed Mr. Kelley. So there's only going to be one person, and spoiler alert, it is not Mrs. Smith. Essentially, Mrs. Smith's role in this scenario is just to help us locate where people are. She's kind of the neighborhood nosy lady who likes to put her nose into everyone's business, and she helps us place where each of those individuals are. So on your separate sheet of paper, once you've laid out your timeline, once you've figured out all of these different things, so who was the murderer, the murder weapon, the time of the murder, the location of the murder, and the motive, you're going to go ahead and document your work here on the second document, which I posted in this assignment. So for your investigative observations, I'd like you to show me what your timeline was. So you can just take a picture of it, which here, let me show you how you can do that. So if you go to insert image, so you could just click on camera and you can hold it up and take a picture with your webcam. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You can also upload images from your Google Drive. So if you take a picture with your phone or a personal device and save that to your Google Drive, you can then go ahead and upload it this way. So I'm okay if you just put that in here. If you want to type out the information that you found about this scenario, you can put it here as well. But you could just put a picture of your timeline and that would be fine. So I would like you to list out your timeline in this section. So the section marked narrative of the sequence of events. You must list out what happened at each time in that section. Okay. So now if we look here, what strategy did even though it says your group, you're going to be working on this alone. You'll say, what strategy did you use to help organize this information? Okay. And then you're just answering who was the murderer, what was the murder weapon, what was the time of the murder, the location, and the motive for this murder. And then you need to specifically identify what evidence caused you to believe that. Okay? So this activity, and again, even though it says group member names up here, you're just going to be doing this on your own if you're 100% remote here. So if you have any questions while you're working through this, keep in mind it is not due until Sunday by 11:59 p.m., but please don't hesitate to reach out to me by email or message me on Remind. I'd be happy to help you out. So good luck, detectives, and hopefully you can find the murderer and solve this case. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.